Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Ben, coach of Build a Body Online, helping rugby players get leaner, stronger and faster to reach the next level. Today, the video is on rugby recovery. This is an absolutely vital element of the game. Rugby is attritional, it is brutal, it really hurts, and injury is a big possibility for anyone. If you're anything like me, it could be more of a probability given my history. So we need to nail recovery. And this training is going to go over the reasons for recovery, the practices we can use for our recovery. And at the end, we're going to give you a simple system to take away with you and use right now. So let's get into it. You might be asking yourself straight away, why do I need to worry about recovery? Surely a protein shake after training is enough, and surely just going to the gym a couple of times a week will get me ready for my training and games, and I won't get injured. Well, here's the thing. We really need to make it clear to any rugby players out there that recovery is just as important as your training. If you think about it this way, we train to induce fatigue. We then recover from that training so that we can adapt to become bigger, stronger, faster, leaner, fitter, etc., than we were before. If you leave the recovery part out, what do we get? We just get fatigue, and that leads to the opposite. So why do we need to recover? Well, firstly, adaptation. Performance is enhanced when we effectively adapt from our training. What is the point in hours and hours of training in the gym, on the field, playing our games to our maximum intensity if we don't adapt via effective recovery? If we recover well, we will get fitter, we will get stronger, etc. We also have injury prevention. More and more fatigue, more and more load on the body is going to increase injury risk. We need to recover so that we can move properly in rugby situations, so that when we produce force, we can do it in the correct way, in an efficient way, and we can prevent that injury from happening, not get overworked, not get sick, not get ill, and all of these things. Massive implications with recovery for injury prevention. Readiness, whether it's a game, whether it's strength, whether it's speed, interval training, a skill session, whatever type of training, you're going to benefit a lot more from the session if you are fresh, energetic, happy. If you're making an effort to be fully recovered before the next activity, makes sure that you're ready to hit hard with maximum intent again and again and again. So really good for getting you ready for your next training or game. And finally, nobody likes being tired. Nobody likes being sore, being in pain all of the time. It's going to affect your day-to-day and also affect the people that are closest to you as well if you're suffering due to inadequate recovery. So your well-being and your overall wellness is massively at play. So we can break our recovery down into these key elements of practice, and we're going to hammer this home to every rugby player out there. The most important is the big three, the one in the middle there. It is adequate and effective nutrition, rehydration and hydration from training and games, and getting good quality sleep as well. If you nail the big three, you're going to be okay. These are the absolute foundation of your recovery that you need to get done before you can do the rest. But the others are also very effective strategies and really good to top up from the big three. We have active recovery methods. This is where we're going to actively go and do some work, put in a little bit of movement to help our body recover. Things such as stretch and mobility sessions, maybe a foam roll, an aerobic flush session. It could be a swim at the pool. These are all active recovery methods where you're putting in a bit of effort to move for your recovery. Then we move over to passive recovery. This is where we don't do work. We maybe use gear or an external feature to help us. Things like massage from a therapist. We could do ice baths, contrast bars, maybe wearing compression garments. Anything where we're using kit and we're not really putting in any work is passive recovery. Bottom left there, we have lifestyle factors. These are super important. Things in life that are going to help us be in a rest or digest state so that we can effectively recover and adapt. Okay, stress reduction, anxiety management, taking care of our mood, taking care of our wellness, taking time off from rugby and time off from training so that we can recover. These are all really important as well. And finally, supplements, the icing on the cake, the things to top up with if you can't get this from your day-to-day diet or hydration or nutrition or whatever. We've got protein powders. Maybe you're supplementing with creatine monohydrate. things that are just going to top up those energy stores to help your body recover. So these are all the key elements of recovery practice that you should be doing and you can implement to your week of rugby. Context is absolutely vital here. Nobody is going to respond the same way to the same recovery practices, and no one is going to have the same available time, resources, or energy to do them the same as everybody else. For example, you might have easy access to a pool and a gym so that you can go to do a swim, you could do a stretch and a foam roll session the day after the game. However, you might also not have access to a therapist for a massage or an ice bath or a contrast bath. So those are some contrasting things where your context may have an effect. You may also have time for a 10-minute breathing or meditation session, but you don't have time available for a 30-minute aerobic flash session or a swim. Okay, so these are all things where context comes into play. One thing that has to be completely consistent and always in is nailing the big three. Making sure you have adequate nutrition, hydration, and sleep. We can always do this, and that is essential. Then it's about picking the practices that are going to work for you from the elements we just mentioned. So make sure you try them all out. Make sure you figure out what works well for you, what makes you feel the best, what helps you to perform the best, and reduces your risk of injury the most as well. So I want you to take away this system today. This is a simple points system, and it is an amazing way that many clubs out there, including professional clubs, promote recovery instead of just saying, off you go, good luck, have a pop at some recovery, and we'll see you next session. It is a really simple point system, and it's a way to know exactly what to do for recovery. It's a way to help you quantify your recovery, and it's a way to give you a challenge as well, an element of gamification, which is a great way to enhance your recovery. If we look here, here's a simple example of how the point system works. On the right-hand side, you can see some recovery modalities and the points that they are allocated. Take this away, add your own recovery practices that you can do on a regular basis and allocate a certain amount of points. Remember, the big three are the most important. They are the most valuable, so they should take away the most points. Others are top-ups. Okay, so you can see here, we have 8 hours plus of sleep. That's big value, it's 15 points. Whereas on the way down, wearing compression garments, pretty easy, passive method, 5 points. So you can do this for yourself. If you look to the left here, we're going to give an example. Aiming to accumulate at least 40 points, which is down on the bottom right of the table, very poor recovery, so poor performance and a higher injury risk. That is the minimum we're aiming for. We would have to get to 40 points. We would need to do a nutritious meal within an hour after the game ending, and that equals 15 points. Having a contrast shower, that is 10 points. 7 to 8 hours sleep, another 10 points, and 2 to 3 nasal breathing exercises as well, 5 points. So if you completed all of those for your recovery, that would get you to 40 points, which is poor. So you can see how this is becoming a challenge. It is a bit of gamification. It is hard for you to get the adequate amount of recovery up. You need to double that effort and double that amount of recovery to get to the green, to the optimal performance. But this is a great system. Take it away and use it. Start right now. It really will help your recovery. So just to recap on this training, recovery is absolutely vital for adaptation, injury prevention, readiness, and well-being. And we can recover through the big three: adequate sleep, nutrition, and hydration. Active methods, passive methods, lifestyle factors, and supplements to top everything up at the end. Context is absolutely key for recovery. There is no one size fits all. Every player is going to have a different need. And we can use the simple point system to quantify your recovery at the end. Thank you very, very much for watching. Please subscribe and like for more training videos and to stay up to date with our content. We have more content as well in our social media platforms. Please follow us on Instagram and join our free Facebook group where we will be giving lots of trainings and resources. The links to those are in the description below. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next training.